What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Twinmotion video. At this video, we're looking at paths, specifically the character path. So we'll place a path and end up having a bunch of characters in our scene. That's pretty cool. I am wearing this lovely piece of headgear because the quarantine is getting to my hair, and I don't have the ability to deal with it, so you're kind of stuck with me wearing this thing for now to save you from all of the scariness that might be underneath it. So with that said, if you at any point in this video you do learn something, and especially if you do like it, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, pressing the like button, that really helps me out a lot. And at this point, let's jump right into it. So I'm in Twinmotion. I have gone to the immense trouble of adding a few more materials to this house so it actually looks like something more than just a gray block for you. That is not so much important as to what we're doing. We're looking at the character path. So if I come over here to context and paths, we'll see I have these different paths. I'm going to start with character path, so character path. And as soon as I do this, there's almost nothing to look at, except, and there's nothing really different, except a little pen tool. And if I click the pen tool, I now have the option to place a dot or a point really wherever I want, and it even works vertically, on roofs, anything, absolutely anywhere. And what this is going to do is allow us to draw a path. It's going to draw a continuous path from one point to the next. If you're familiar with Photoshop, Illustrator, a lot of the Adobe products really utilize the pen tool, and it often looks like this, in an attempt to create a path. So in this video, it basically is the same with Twinmotion. So I'm going to come in here and we're just going to start drawing a path. And I can really click anywhere. Like I said, we can click on the wall up here, and this path is going to span from the first point which I drew to the next point. And let's draw a point here, and I'm gonna end up just kind of working my way through the first level of this house and going inside. Now it is kind of weird when you get to a door, because unfortunately doors in Twinmotion, unlike Inkscape, they have clash turned on like by default, just because it's geometry. It's not picking up the door as something specific. So I actually have to go through the door, and you'll notice as I start to draw this path, I get people starting to populate the path. Obviously that makes sense. So actually, as we come inside, we can now start to place these points inside and not actually on top of the door. Imagine that. So let's come in here and I'll just place a few more points. Maybe we'll have them walk around the kitchen. Obviously this is a little tight. This is meant for a very small family or just a couple. It's that small. So let's come in here and place these points maybe around the kitchen, maybe around the living room. Continue placing them. We'll have them go outside. Again, we have to go through the door there, and we can have it in right here. Perfect. So at this point, what do? Well, we start to see these people populating. That's great. That's what we want to see. But once we stop using the pen tool, we now have all of these different settings that we can begin to work with when it comes to the character path. Again, you see my path is here. I've got my characters on it. Now we have a lot of different settings to look at. So let's go inside and start to affect some of these different settings and see what the impact is on this path. So this is kind of funny. Type, it's currently set to multi. So when I click on type, I actually have an option to choose different nationalities for the type of characters I'd like to use. Now, I am not at all biased in this video and don't plan to be, so I'm going to keep it on multi. There's no reason not to. Clothing's kind of interesting. You've got choices between street, office, beach, traditional, Middle East. So whether, depending on the setting, depending on the project, this being just a basic residential, it just makes sense that something casual or street or whatever would work. If you're doing an office building, something like that, obviously there's office and everyone's a bit more dressed up. Pretty cool. They have that kind of baked into the characters. Now the width is kind of interesting in that it is actually the width that they are populating on the path. And it does get to a point to where if you increase this from 3 feet being the minimum up to a certain point, you can have multiple people on the same path next to each other. And that's because I guess they need a minimum of number of feet between each other. So let's begin to increase this, and as we increase it, we can start to see that more people are on the path. So in a way, you could create a horde of characters that are a giant crowd of characters that follow a path continuously, and that's really nice. Now, moving on to density, So what density is it's essentially the number of characters you have on the path, and that is really it's a bit dependent on the width, and that the more width you have, the more characters you can have. So they kind of go hand in hand in that way. But density is just the pure density on that path. So if I begin to raise this more, we start to see more people on the path. I'm going to stop it at about here, just because I've tested it beyond this point, and having more characters on the screen tends to bog the program down, and I can imagine as you increase the width and the density almost to max, you could venture into the realms of possibly crashing Twinmotion. I'm not interested in doing that for this video, so I will stop right there. But you get the idea. The density does impact the amount of people on the path, and it goes hand in hand with the width to a degree. Because I can reduce the width now and still have a density of 61, and I have more people on the path than I would if the density were lower, but I don't have as many people because of the amount of width I have. Great, that works. And so I've got an easy reverse button if for some reason I want them to walk the other direction. That just makes sense. That's not a big deal. You obviously can reverse them back. You can turn walking on and off, so in a sense they're idle. They can just stop moving. They each have an idle animation, which I think is really great, and that's really nice to see. Something to be aware of is that if I have a path, like this path itself, it does not care about geometry. I just happen to, I guess, nail the path and getting around the galley kitchen just so perfectly that we haven't seen this yet. But let me move this point over here to where it kind of intersects some of the furniture, and we'll start to see as we get some of these people walking what might happen whenever the path comes into play with geometry. And the idea is that this path and the geometry don't really work well together. It's just they're each independent things. So the path is the path, the geometry is the geometry, and so this path, it is reacting to the geometry, which means that the characters are reacting to the geometry. So this is something to be aware of, in that, and all that to say that you can clearly see that these people are, in a sense, climbing over the bar, climbing over these tables and different furniture to continue on the path. And that's because they're not going to necessarily just walk through the geometry, that's kind of nice. It makes sense that they wouldn't, but at the same time, they're just mounting all of these furnitures. So just be aware of that. You have to be a bit more precise with the path than you might think you need to be, because they will walk on the furniture. And of course, if you stop their walking and they happen to be on top of something, they're just going to stop on top. That's just the way it is. So be careful with your paths. Make sure you have the right density with everything you need. It's a really easy tool, really nice. It's very helpful, and it's quite easy to use. So you see all these different nodes here that I've made before, but maybe I decide, well, maybe I want to go in the dining room over here as I walk in. Well, I actually have the option of selecting this plus sign, and as soon as I click this plus sign, I get another point between the 2 points there. And now I actually can do the same thing if I want, but I might just want to move that over here into the dining room there. So at this point now, all the people are walking into the dining room and then back into the living room. And of course, I haven't refined the path perfectly, in that I have people walking through this wall in and out of the house there, but you get the idea. So now you can actually edit where this path is without having to redraw the whole path. That's just a pain. It'd be really a pain if you couldn't do that. So that's pretty nice. And the thing to note also is that all of these different paths that I have, and I happen to have the character path on here, this character path is its own entity. It's one single thing within all of your elements in Twinmotion. So I can freely hide and show that. I can isolate. I can do anything like I normally could with any other Twinmotion object. And it's just like any other object. It's great. So it works all the same. It's got all these different settings. That will do it for the character movement tool. I sure hope you learned something. If you did, if you wouldn't mind, please demolishing that like button. It really helps me out a lot. Also, please consider changing the phase of that subscribe button to existing. That also helps. I sure hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching.